I forget how to play this game, so you're gonna have to teach us.
Oh.
You know, when you start explaining the game, I just stop paying attention.
This is Seven Wonders, and it is a drafting game, very similar to Sushi Go, but with a lot more involved. I believe I mentioned this in the explanation for Sushi Go, so this is what I was talking about. Now,
So check out that game if you're figuring out what Scott's talking about, because I don't even remember.
okay, so for each player, we have one of 7 civilizations, locations, whatever you want to call them, and on these are the stages of the wonder. So hence the 7 wonders. That's the name for it. We'll get to actual construction and everything in a bit, but let's just go over card types.
An A and a B.
Yes, there's an A and a B side.
Turns out we're all doing A.
Yes. Again, like I was saying, it's usually easier for explanation and understanding, because it can get a little bit more complicated with what's involved.
I think the last time we played the second round, we switched it.
Yeah, we flipped them over the second time we played them, and Holland hated it.
Oh yeah, he got screwed.
All right. So we have common resources. There are, I believe, 4, and there are artisan resources, which there are 3 of those. Now, each civilization starts off with access to one particular resource. They're each unique, hence 4, 3, 7. Each place has their own. Meaning that if you have a card with a cost, costs are denoted in the top left corner. In this case, wood. So you would need wood in order to select that card to place in front of you. So Nick starts off with wood and would be able to
buy
that without needing any additional cards. You and I, however, would need to either have a resource that produces wood, or we would have to pay Nick
to use it
in order to use it. Now, with a 3-player game, we all have access to each other's resources. In with larger games, you only have access to your direct neighbors.
So it's always only 2 other people.
Right. You only have access to 2 other people. Now, the way to do that is, if you were going to be utilizing a neighbor's resource, like you don't have enough to do it, say I wanted to get this for some reason. But I don't have the wood, so I would have to pay my neighbor, Nick, 2 coins in order to make use of that resource. That's why we start off with
3 coins.
3 coins, yes.
What would you
11.
call your resource?
Water?
I could do chemistry, alchemy, glass. It's gonna be glass, but you can call it whatever you like.
Okay.
In case you needed to know.
Oh, glass.
Basically, go with the basic words for it. I believe this is
Tapestry?
I was gonna say textiles.
Oh, that
But-
would make sense, yeah.
There are some resources that have multiple uses. It's not saying that you have access to both of them, so if you had something that cost clay and iron, you would not be able to use it for both of them. There are some that do not have this slash, meaning that you would have access to both of them. But regardless, again, cost at the top, so a yellow circle is denoting gold or coins. So in this case, this would cost 1 coin into the reserves.
And then at the time you want to use it, you can choose which one? I see, okay.
Generally speaking, you're going to place all of your resources after you've selected them into the corner here, so both you and everybody else can see what you have access to. Now, there are some, let me see if I can find an example of one.
Clay pit of despair.
Yes, the loom is what they're calling
is
for
what I
that,
have.
but yes.
I don't even know what that means.
My mom actually had a loom.
It's
Makes rugs.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, makes uses
Textiles.
yes.
Yeah, tapestries.
You use it with string, yarn, various single thread or larger thread implements, and you're
I've seen it.
like weaving stuff in. Use a paddle to.
And what happened to
stuff
her
down.
loom?
She sold it. Oh, actually, I think she gave it to Kathy.
Oh.
Anyway, we went over the basic resources and the artisan resources. Again, it's denoted by the colors. The colors do become important for later rounds, as there are card interactions based off of the numbers of each color that you have. Blue are for victory points. That's all they do. They just give you victory
At the
points.
end.
Yes. Most of these things will be calculated at the end. There are whole things. This is just for names. And there we have combat score, gold, wonders, victory points, gold, which is usually dealing with trade and stuff like that. They will sometimes grant victory points. Purple are the, oh my goodness, I forgot the
These guys?
name of it. Well, yes, but they were
Special ones.
yes. What are they called? Guilds. There we go. Those are the guilds. Guilds are they usually interact with a certain type of card, and will be a large source of victory points. Green science. We'll get to that one in a bit. You want to pause or?
You can keep going.
No pause.
Okay. Get to that a bit later. Now, well, while we already have it out here, we'll do the combat. Combat is dealt with at the end of each age. The end of each age is once we have fully dealt with the drafting. I can go over drafting system again in case they didn't watch the first one. We'll go with this one. But after we've finished our drafts, then we will deal with combat. So, combat, like trading, is dealt with against your neighbors.
So everybody.
In the 3-player game, yes, it's dealt with everybody. What you're doing is you're comparing the number of crossed swords with your neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
If you have more, then you get a victory point based on the age that you're in. In the first age, it's 1, second age is 3, third age is 5. So you can score quite a lot of points just from winning all combat against your neighbors. Score up to 18. Now, for any combat that you lose, you get a -1 token. Now, these do not cancel out. You don't say like, oh, I have a +1, -1, I'll get rid of both of these. Because there are interactions, there are certain cards that have interactions with the -1 token, so you always will keep those with you. There is no -3, -5, so for losing combat, it's always only the -1.
Okay.
So that is for combat. Now let's get to something else here. Here's gold. Okay. So gold ones, as I said before, will usually interact with trade in some fashion. Now, what this is saying, now you're going to have this facing towards you, so the arrows will matter. So if this was, well, let's keep it right upside up for now. If Nick had this, what this is saying is that if you needed to purchase a resource that you didn't have from your neighbor to your right, which in this case is Sarah, instead of paying her 2, you would pay her 1.
Ah.
Now, if you needed to make use of mine, this does not come into effect because it does not have an arrow coming off.
But
the
some
left.
do have double arrows.
Some do have double arrows, yes.
Okay.
In which case, you would still pay me 2. But you
Almost like a triple arrow. What does it mean?
I think there actually is a triple arrow for some of them. It would be both of your neighbors and yourself.
Why would what?
I believe some of the guilds have the triple arrows mean that you would be gaining victory points based off of the number of certain colored cards, and it would have multiple arrows. If it had the triple arrow, then it would be both your neighbors and yourself would be counted into that. Now that we finally found one that has a precursor, what this means is the ones that are down here, there are alternative costs in later ages. Let me see if I can find one. This drives me nuts when they're all different. Let's see. Forum.
I tried switching them.
Well, and then I mixed. I shuffled them.
Let's get these all set up there. Okay. So this is a second age card that has an alternative cost, meaning that when you were putting this down, you could either use 2 clay, or if you had a trading post, then you can get this.
Okay.
This is one of the trading posts, and the way that you can tell that would lead into that is down here. It lets you know what cards in later ages have alternative costs for this, that utilize this.
Okay.
So if you find that they both have the forum, and it will usually let you know roughly what it is based on the symbols. In this case, this would give you access to one of the artisan resources.
If you have this card already.
If you have this card already, you can get this without needing to have 2 clay.
Oh.
It's an alternative cost. And this one would also lead into Haven, which would be something, it could potentially be in the second age as well, but it would usually be in a later age.
Not gonna lie, I'm very lost. I don't remember ever seeing this.
Okay. There are many cards that
Did you add this?
Yes, I altered all of the cards just for this playthrough.
I did this on purpose.
So, there is an interesting interaction with this one, though. When you are making use of resources, you're for the other players, you're making use of the browns and the grays. You're not accessing the gold. So this would be something that would be just yours.
I remember that. Do you know what he's saying?
Yeah, the gold ones are just yours.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I'm saying, like, this particular card gives you access to one of the artisan resources, but that's not something that somebody else is going to be able to pay for.
So what he's saying is, if you were trying,
it to me.
If you were trying, womansplain.
Womansplain.
If you were trying to buy this card and you already have this one, because it has the same thing, you can use this as one of the payments.
You don't have to use the card. Like, you don't have to give it up.
Right.
In order to make use of it. It's just, if you have it, you can place this down as your selection without needing to have access to the double clay.
Oh, so you don't have to have access to that at all?
You don't have to have this
So you can just get this?
You can just get this.
Oh.
As long as you meet that requirement.
Oh, I see. The forum right here is this.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the forum.
Gotcha.
It's letting you know what you will be able to
you can just take it.
Get.
Okay.
Yes.
When in another age, when you, yeah.
And now, we keep all of our resources from age to age?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So they build on each other.
Yes. Well, to speak on it.
These are the ages 1, 2, 3.
No. I'll get to that. Get to that in a moment.
These are.
Now, yes, the ages are these decks of cards.
Gotcha.
Okay. We can go over that now. The basic way for drafting games is you deal out all the cards. Then you're looking at your hand, trying to determine what you want to keep, pull it out, place it down, and pass it off. On the back of the cards will let you know which direction you are passing to.
Gotcha.
And they change. They alternate. So first age will be passing off to the left. Second age, pass off to the right. Third age, again, passing off to the left.
So if you already had this card and you see this come in your hand, you can take it.
You can take that without.
Just take it.
Yes. Now.
Just like Shia
since we were talking about the resources continuing on through the ages, it is important to note that in the first age, that's where the majority of the resources are. The second age will have some resources, but they'll be like doubled up and stuff like that. Third age has no resources.
Oof.
So
Get them
if
early.
you don't get them early, then you're gonna be paying a lot of.
In the end.
Okay.
Okay.
So
He's
either
teaching us strategy.
make a lot of money or get a lot of
letting you
resources.
know what is available. Okay.
He's helping us cheat.
And let's see, there's science. Science is, I believe, the last thing for the basic.
Oh yeah, and there's
Cards.
three sets.
Yes,
three
there
of
are
those.
3 types of science. Okay.
Science.
Now,
You know,
science is a bit complicated for what's going on. They have different symbols that are at the top here, and all of them lead into other things. So you're always going to be like combining them. The way that science is scored is for every set, it's one of each
Yep.
that you have, you score 7 points. And then in addition to that, you score for depth as well.
Right. So if you have 5 of these.
If you have 5 of those, you're going to score a lot.
Yeah.
Because after scoring the sets, which could potentially be nothing, you don't need to like complete a set in order to get points. You're still going to be getting points regardless. But
Yeah.
if you do complete a set, that's worth 7. And then for each individual type of science, you score a square of the number that you have of that. So if we had 3 wheels,
So 3 times 3 is 9.
that would be 9 points just for the wheels. And that does combine with the 7. So like if you had 1 of these, 3 of these, 2 of these, that would be 1 set
7.
for 7. Then you would get 1 point in addition for this, 9 points for this, and 4 points for this. Now,
Gotcha.
we don't have all of the cards here to give the visual representation of
get it.
that, but we will likely have somebody who's going that at the end.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to calculate it at that point in time.
Please tell me
The-
those are all the rules.
Oh. Last bit is we got guilds.
Purple.
Guilds. Guilds are expensive. They require lots of different resources and will always be interacting with some sort of color. In this case, this would be saying that you would get 1 point, 1 victory point, for every green card that your neighbors have.
Oh.
That's the basic. That's pretty much all there is.
Those
for-
are the rules.
No,
Okay.
that's not all.
Okay,
That's not
not
all of
all
the
of
rules. Now, because we have not
Can I
dealt
shuffle
with.
these?
Yes, we have not dealt with these
You're right.
things yet.
Yeah, we gotta get through those.
So, the costs for them are down at the bottom. The reward is in the middle.
Okay.
It's different for every civilization.
Yep.
Each one has something different. The way that these work is instead of selecting a card to add to your pool of resources, you can instead place it under the slot here to construct your wonder. You're still going to have to pay the cost for, associated there in order to make use of that, but you can use any card. So you can look at this and find, like, well, I can't get this, but I really don't want this person
It's
to have
a
it.
throwaway card.
So you can burn it underneath while
Gotcha.
paying this in order to construct it. You do have to construct them in order.
I was
So
gonna
just
ask
because,
that.
like, okay, I have 2 iron, so I'm going to lay this down, and then I'll get back to this one. It has to be done in order. You can't pick and choose.
Okay.
One thing you'll notice with the stuff is the victory points get larger as you go further in age. So if you are working on your wonder, it is better to get the earlier uses. Now, the same time, by getting the earlier uses,
You're burning more resources.
remember, because you don't have access to resources in the later ones, so
Right.
it's kind of a balancing act there. One other thing that you are able to do is if you're finding that you are running out of gold,
You steal
you
it.
can discard a card, and I don't remember how much gold you get for that, but let's see if we can find that one. Good. Resource cost.
Sometimes we have to check
Yep.
the rules.
3 coins. You get 3
3
coins.
coins for discard.
Yes, you can discard to gain 3 coins.
Gotcha.
All right. I believe that's it. Other than explaining the individual middle ones, because many a times the middle will be
So what does this say?
somewhat confusing. Well, we have a cheat sheet for that.
Yeah. Can we go through?
Okay. Yep. So.
Well, you get 3 victory points, 7
I
victory
get
points.
that one.
Does this
And
also
then-
have- yes, it does. So we have
You get a red X.
cheat sheet
Red X.
right here. So for the boards, your board here. Once per age, a player can construct a building from his or her hand for free. So once you have completed this, you can you can select a card without needing to pay the cost.
Oh.
That's nice. What?
Once per age. Now for you're over here. The player can look at all cards discarded since the beginning of the game,
Wow.
pick one, and build it for free.
Wow. So even the earlier ages.
Yes, it's once per age, I believe. Okay, yeah, it's since the beginning of the game. So as soon as you construct it, you pick one. So this one is good to get early, so that way you can get use of the 3 ages. This one is often better to be saved for late, so that you can get something
Later.
that has a huge cost
Oh. Okay.
and get that one for
Okay.
free.
What is yours?
Mine
Oh, yours is just
I
any
I
resource.
get access to one of the basic resources.
Got it.
I think I had that one before. I
Yeah.
didn't care for it.
It's
Oh, yeah?
it's useful. It's not very exciting. For the final thing with
More rules.
it's the last roll. It is literally the last roll.
That's what he always says.
It's at the actual last roll because I was reminded of it due to this ability right here. Unlike Sushi Go, where we're getting use of all of the cards that we use, for the last decision when you have 2 in your hand, you are picking one and the last one is discarded. So that way this ability will always have an option to be triggered.
Oh.
I didn't follow any of that.
I mean, like, we're going to start off
We
with
pass around
yeah.
the cards,
Okay.
And
like
then-
for the drafting part.
and then
Okay.
eventually you're gonna have cards in your hand, and you can only choose one.
You're
You
going
have to discard the other one.
Yeah, you're going to have 2 cards at the end. So the
You-
final
it'll,
decision.
It'll make sense.
It'll
when
make
we're doing
sense.
Yes. Okay. So
So now we play?
now we shuffle up and deal. Yes.